China. It's a topic I often talk about here on Washington Watch because they are a threat to America, I believe a threat to freedom. They're not interested in being a competitor of America. They want to conquer America. I mean, the evidence is out there. You just have to open your eyes and see it. Well, earlier today, a subcommittee of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee heard closed-door testimony regarding Chinese Communist Party's their ongoing infiltration of U.S. military installations. Now, I mentioned earlier this week that we continue to see evidence confirming that the CCP's efforts to influence and infiltrate every sector of the community in the United States is out there. It's there. We just have to see it. And U.S. military installations are a standing, vulnerable target for our adversaries. So how can Congress combat this threat? Joining me now to discuss this is Congressman James Comer. He is the chairman of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee, where he recently launched a probe into China's political warfare campaign. He represents the 1st Congressional District of Kentucky. Mr. Chairman, welcome back to Washington Watch. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You are concerned about the influence and the infiltration efforts that the Chinese Communist Party is engaging in.
Absolutely. I mean, you look, we've known for years they're stealing our patents, they're stealing our intellectual property. They've engaged in creating spy centers all across America, not just at our public universities, which, by the way, China, we have learned, is funding anonymously a lot of our most liberal research universities, the ones which just so happen to be having all the campus protests against Israel. But we also know that they're spying on our military bases, and we've launched an investigation. We're trying to learn every detail of how deep their spy rings go, how deep their theft rings go, as well as passing legislation through our committee yesterday, the Biosecure Act, which targeted 5 Chinese companies that the United States can no longer do business with because they take our genetic data and our healthcare data and use it against us.
Now, Mr. Chairman, I know you've long seen this threat, unlike some others, and you've been tracking it. So a lot of what you've seen is not new. It's just confirming what you've seen. But let me ask you this question based upon some of the information that you've gotten, and you've kind of taken the intelligence community to task for not doing their job on this front. Anything surprising that you've seen? What can you share with us most recently that you've uncovered?
Well, it's unfortunate. Right now, I have absolutely no confidence in our intelligence community whatsoever. And it doesn't just stem from our ongoing investigation with China or our ongoing investigation with the Biden influence peddling. It's just issue after issue. When they give a briefing or a classified briefing to Congress, if you write that down and wait, their predictions never seem to happen. They're always wrong in a lot of big things, from this country has weapons of mass destruction to they'll occupy Kyiv in the next 72 hours, talking about Ukraine. But when you look at what are they doing with respect to China, there's no government plan right now to educate the heads of government cabinets, much less the heads of government departments and divisions, as to what to look for to realize when China has infiltrated your data system, or when China has hacked into some type of computer program, or where China may have some employees that are there spying and taking sensitive or even classified information back to the CCP for China. So we've got a government that has absolutely no idea the severity of the threat from China, and they have no plan to prepare or even educate the government employees, our military leaders, or anyone else on signs to detect the Chinese threat early on.
Mr. Chairman, the President Biden says, look, we just want fair competition. We just want to be a competitor. What is China's end game? I don't see them as wanting to simply compete with us.
We all know that China has this Belt and Road Initiative where they want to basically be the dominant economic superpower. And I think if you look at the investments they've made, the cash on hand that they have, that's a real threat. They're certainly in better financial shape than the United States. In fact, we owe China money. They own a lot of our debt. And one of the strategies that China uses in third world countries, and I fear that they may already be implementing this strategy in the United States, is a thing called debt trap strategy, where they loan countries money on certain infrastructure projects that China secretly wants. They loan these third world countries this money, knowing they will never be able to pay it back. And then, like a bank, they go in and foreclose on that asset. So what we have in the United States is China. Anytime Joe Biden has a program to pay off student loan debt, or has another stimulus program, or something like that costs a bunch of money, or gives money to Ukraine, we're borrowing from China. And I fear that in the back of China's mind, they realize the United States is going to be just like some of these African countries and these South American countries that we deal with. They're never going to be able to pay it back.
Right. And as Scripture says, we don't want to be indebted because we're a slave. The borrower is slave to the lender.
Yep.
Chairman, always great to see you. Thanks so much for taking time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.